This is Ramon, the channel is Alpha 4, and here's our first political video since my last one. I mentioned in the last video bad faith, and a lot of people misunderstood that term, which is they thought I meant religious faith. Bad faith here, what I mean is either misleading, not fulfilling a contract, or acting on a faulty premise. And when I say the president, who is the president by the way, is acting in bad faith, what I'm saying is he's acting on faulty premises. I'm not saying that he's not fulfilling his promises. He's actually fulfilling every promise. In fact, promises that many of his supporters, especially his supporters who thought that it was funny to vote for him, thought that he would never actually try to implement. Now, when I say he's acting on bad faith, I mean he's acting on faulty premises. He's acting on bad information. Now, much of this bad information comes from fake news, and he buys into that. Some of this bad information comes from propaganda. Some of it right-wing, some of it left-wing. But there's the other problem that a lot of people who saw my last video didn't seem to get. Which is funny because I opened up with a passage from the Bible, so you thought they'd understand this. A lot of people thought that meant that I'm a liberal, which I'm not. I'm from the most southern part of Texas there is. I grew up hunting. I grew up fighting. I live on the north side of town. No, I'm not a liberal. I do believe in some liberal causes, sure. I do support gay marriage. I like the idea of having a world culture. Multiculturalism, I believe, is the word in Europe. I like that. I like that idea. Considering I'm Hispanic and a little bit Native American, according to my family, that is. I don't know if that's true, but that's what they tell me. But I'm also Spaniard and French. So I'm pro-multiculturalism because this is a lot of cultures. But I'm also pro-gun. I am pro-religion, obviously. Let's see. What else? Oh, I'm a martial artist. So I don't have a problem with violence. I'm very much pro-cop. I'm very much pro-law enforcement. At one point I was considering being a police officer. I'm not in any kind of way. Also, I'm not military in any kind of way. But I support the military and I love the military because I practice a martial art that was born of the military. Not our military, a previous one called, Sparta, which is a military state. So no, I do not have a problem with authoritarian views. I do have a problem with authoritarian views put on a free democracy, though. As for more controversial things that have popped up, I don't buy into fake news. I'm a philosopher. I'm not a very highly educated philosopher. I'm a novice at best, but a philosopher none the least. So I don't just believe something because somebody says it. I do my research, and if that research shows that things are faulty or that contradictory facts do not make logical sense, then that claim is invalid and therefore unsound and therefore not true. These are not complicated ideas. So when I say the president is acting in bad faith, I am not talking about religion. And when I say that he's acting on false premises, I am talking about the bad information that many of you believe. This device that you're listening to right here is not a truth machine. I could tell you I'm from Mars. And if you believe that, that's because you're an idiot. On the other hand, I could tell you I'm from Indiana. And if you believe that, well then maybe it might be true. It's possible. It's plausible. But I'm not. I'm from Texas. But how do you know? You don't. And that's the problem with the news. That's the problem with newspapers. You don't know. That's why I like reading a multiple of news sources. I read both. I used to read Huffington Post. I got rid of that because it got a little too anti-man for a little bit. And obviously I'm a man, so didn't like reading that. But I liked reading Huffington Post and at the same time reading more conservative newspapers. I like reading the New York Times. I like listening to MSNBC. I like listening to Fox. I didn't like Fox for a long time because it's full of a lot of, let's call it unofficial propaganda. But I enjoyed watching CNN back when it was a good counterbalance to MSNBC. I love listening to the BBC. I like that news source especially. Dateline London is one of my favorite news sources for international news. So, no, I am not talking about faith. When I'm talking about bad faith, I'm not talking about religion. When I'm talking about bad faith, I'm talking about how I feel that the president is acting. And you all making a bunch of assumptions based on my accent, based on my location, based on my skin color, based on the fact that I don't support Trump, or faulty premises that come from what you imagine someone believes or doesn't believe. Now, do I believe in equal rights? You better believe I believe in that. Do I believe in free speech? Yes, I do. I am 100% anti-censorship. But that's anti-censorship on both sides. I am anti-censorship when the left does it. I'm anti-censorship when the right does it. So, just remember, before you start making assumptions, try listening to my whole video. That's a lesson on bad faith. Welcome to politics on my channel. Peace, love, like, and subscribe. And if you're still watching my martial arts stuff, that stuff's still happening. If I get enough hits on the politics, I'm just going to make a separate channel just for politics. But, peace.